majority of the trees still on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Between here and there.
Would you like a glass of water?
No, that's amazing, thank you.
Triangle sub fees down, town sub fees.
Okay,
Little bird right there.
ready. Next item of business. The Institute of Professional Administrators of Canada would like to make a motion on this item. Councillor Anderson?
I'd like to make a motion to council for the attendance of the CAO at the Institute of Public Administrators Conference, IPAC, from June 1st to the 4th, which is correct because up above it says the 1st and the 4th, at no cost to the town of
Councillor Carrier?
My only question is, it says there's no cost to the town of High Prairie. All costs, including the registration amount, is $875. It says it's taken care of, but it doesn't say how it's taken care of. Just curious as to how that's taken care of.
Mr. Tomaco?
Nobody, I don't know. Right. Or do you need more information?
You can see his skill in the microphone.
Right.
Our hats without me.
If you do, I will. It's not coming from the town. No.
But if it's coming from the business?
It's not coming from any business. It's not coming from any town. The town of High Prairie is not paid for it. It's not a cent. And I've made that very clear.
Well, thank you.
I always work with you like that. What?
Are you comfortable with this?
I'll tell you what the strategy has been is that there's so many conferences, for example, the one for Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators is happening in Ontario. I try to avoid those things for now, and I take advantage of the things that I may not need to pay for them. I'll probably get in that better. But there are things that most CEOs would be at, but because I do all other kinds of things, I try to minimize my absence by just taking advantage of conferences that are happening in Alberta, not going to Ontario.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. Next item of business, Peace Region Economic Development Alliance's CREDA Municipal Project. Do I have a motion then for this item?
My move is recommended.
Any comments, questions, or anything else on this? Councillor Tanaka?
I guess my question is, should the town join CREDA and forego the LSLEA? Would that, like, who is more beneficial to us? Or could be beneficial to us? And then again, Madam Mayor, you had just said that they're having problems getting forums with the LESEA. So I don't know, is CREDA a better fit for us?
You would probably have to ask the representative.
You know, I don't for sure, because I don't know very much about CREDA, except for I know that the MG found that geographically, that they were a better fit for what they wanted to do with economic development and some of the projects that they were working on. So it's certainly something that maybe we should look into.
I just have one more question.
Yes, Councillor Tanaka.
It says that CREDA is a partnership with 32 municipalities. What's the LESEA?
They have 4 municipalities, 3 municipal settlements, and 8 non-governmental agencies. Schools like at Northwest College, the 2 chambers, stuff like that. It's a much smaller entity. CREDA goes all the way now to Fox Creek. That's their newest member, and I believe they go up to Manning. It's getting to be a very, very large area, and one of their concerns is that are they getting too big? But,
Other projects are being pulled away from here.
but in saying that, at this point, this doesn't cost us anything, and it is part of the MD of Big Lakes. They would like this done, so all we're doing is providing information, and we will probably gain from this, as the information that's there will be shared with us.
Just
Councilor
add to
Rose?
for council that, LSLEA, the focus is more on, like Lesser Slave Lake and tourism, and that has a lot of, that's sort of, I think the draw for us as to why we stayed in maybe in the MD.
Councilor Long?
Just, it's point of order, I don't. When we make the recommended action, for the record, for the people watching and for the minutes, I believe it was the Johnson report that recommended that was one of the things that we were lacking, is when we make those motions, that we actually read out the motion so that it's official in the record. And that way, when people are listening to us talk, they actually know what we're talking about. So, just clarification. Sorry.
No problem, I can still.
All right, any other questions regarding this motion? All in favor then? This motion is carried. And the next item of business is the charity golf tournament. And we have 3 recommended actions. Would anyone like to make this first motion? Councillor Hampton?
Can't discuss the public motion. I'd like to make the motion that council approve that the town of High Prairie be opposed to the MD of Big Lakes and the High Prairie Community Health Foundation for the first annual charity golf tournament sponsored by Telco Industries to raise funds for the town of High Prairie helipad and stars. It's actually helipad and stars. It's not just helipad.
All right. I know it says a council member, but it was actually me. So the mayor requested the addition of the following to the agenda. And that was because I sat in at the organizational meeting, and they talked about sponsorship. That's when Telco Industries stepped up and said that they would be the major sponsor, title sponsor for the $10,000 donation towards the charity golf tournament in support of Stars and the helipad. The barbecue, there's a barbecue and a breakfast, and the golf organizers asked, since the MD has said that they would sponsor the barbecue, they wanted to know whether the town would sponsor the breakfast.
Can I be excused?
Yes. So, and the breakfast, I think, was around $1,500, and there is a chance here for us to distribute promotional items at the breakfast and in the golf bags that the players receive. So I don't know what the promotional items would be, but they would be golf themed, and they would be logoed with the town, and we would receive recognition as one of the sponsors. So that's what this is about. Any questions on it? So the first motion is that we co-host with the MD, and there's no question about money. This is only the first motion is just the acceptance of being a co-host with the MD Foundation. Yes, Councillor Empton?
My question on this, and I saw, you know, we talked originally about the helipad, and we're adding stars, which I think is a great cause, but I'm also sitting there wondering, what if we don't get enough money, or is the plan to split this evenly? And then I'm worried that if we split it, are we leaving ourselves short on the helipad, or are we gonna say if extra funds past the helipad would go to stars? I guess I'm just wondering
How the split is?
how that split would work. Because we have stars now, but we don't have a helipad. So I see the helipad is more of a priority at this point, both great causes, but I'd rather have the helipad for stars to land at if we can get that first. And I don't know what it costs and what this is likely going to raise. That's my question.
Okay, Councillor Empton?
Just to clarify, the reason I put stars is that's what the charity golf tournament is already. It's already named and titled. It's joint. I don't know how it's split or what is gonna go in which direction. The town of Bellevue, their cost from period things is about $200,000 more than that. They have a lot of sponsors from the Sturgeon, the MD, and then oil companies, others. So I actually, I didn't know that, so there are 3 hosts for the tournament, not 2?
3, because the Prairie Community Foundation would be the ones that are raising money. That is their fundraiser to helipad. So Mr. Matthews, Reed Matthews, who also is vice chair of the foundation, said, well, you know, we should be including the foundation because that is their fundraising. That's what they're doing now. We finished with the CT scan. They're now moving to the helipad. So this would be in support of the helipad.
Yeah, I thought it was the MD and the town hosted, and then the funds are given to them to distribute for to use. That's right. I didn't know that they were hosted.
It'll be in name only.
So what's what are they looking at being able to raise from the same ideas? Is there
35,000.
35,000? And any ideas on thoughts on how they were to split this?
No, actually, CO was here. I would be able to ask him what his thoughts were, but I'm not sure. I do know they want stars involved because the publicity for stars they feel would be good. They wish to have, they're going to try to have stars at the tournament that day, and
They will be there.
they're hoping that they will be there with the helicopter.
In talking, I received a phone call from Wendy, actually, and from Stars. And they asked if I would speak, and initially I said yes, but I don't do fine. But it's another issue. But from my understanding, from her discussion with her, is that they'll have the air ambulance there and probably their bus as well. RV that has a simulator and all of that sort of stuff. So.
All right, so this is only 2 co-hosts,
Correct.
all right? So, any other questions, any other thoughts, comments? All in favor? This motion is carried. Now, we should rescind the one, because this one apparently, it is, when we talked about this charity golf tournament, we were going to put it as a Gordon Buchanan charity golf tournament. And I believe that Councillor Carrier had made a valid point when he said that if this is in August, Gordon Buchanan will be long gone, why don't we do something sooner rather than later? And that was, I thought that was what I came away from the last meeting, but I could be wrong because this is how the motion came out and was approved. And nobody said anything, so obviously this then therefore was the motion. So this, yes, Councillor Rose?
My understanding or my memory says that we discussed it in just support of what came out of the intermunicipal meeting, where the topic of if that was the way they wanted to go, we were going to be in support of what the MD did. This is the MD's tournament that we've been asked to co-host with, and I think that was sort of where that came from. So I think this is basically what was said, and it was a little like either we'll have a supper or we'll support the tournament with the Buchanan name being part of the tournament, if that's the way they have been to go forward. So we were sort of waiting for their call, but we wanted to go into that next meeting prepared to be ready to say yea or nay.
So do you want to make a motion to rescind this motion?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to rescind. Motion 314, moved by Councillor Janaka, that council approve recognition of dinner ceremony and charity golf tournament on August 21st, 2014 in Gordon Buchanan's name, thanking him and his family for their extensive contribution to the town of Prairie.
Okay, so this rescinds the motion that the charity golf tournament is associated with Buchanan, now associated with the LPAD and stuff. All in favor? This motion is carried. And then the last part, possibly there could be two parts here. One is what are we going to do, if anything, for Mr. Buchanan? And then the other part is a request for $5,000, and this is a sponsorship. Well, sponsorship, it's promotional items, I don't know, advertising, what, it doesn't really, I guess it would be up to the treasurer what ought to take out of it, it's advertising.
So the request for $5,000 is vague, because you said the
breakfast
is
itself is
1,500.
around $1,500. So you'd be looking at an additional $2,000, $2,500.
It's 3,500 to get to 5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like lots for
Yeah.
So they.
so maybe the breakfast is a bit more.
So this request came from the MD?
Came from discussion as to will you sponsor the breakfast? And then it was, okay, you're having breakfast, do you want to be in on promotional items for this golf tournament to promote the town? And I said, yes, I will bring it to council. What are we looking at here? So breakfast and promotional items. You can make the motion up to 5 if you want, you can cut it back. You can do what you want, but I do think we need promotional items bought that say, and they're golf themed, and they promote the town. They'll be given away to participants, to ministers that are in attendance, and they're expecting a lot of ministers and various other volunteers, et cetera, et cetera. Councillor Enter.
For ideas to move this forward, I'd like to see the town donate promotional items in the idea of long golf tees. It's gonna be 18-hole tournament, I would expect, times however many, so if we gave 20 tees, player, covers them for the round. Other ideas are that the town could enter 2 foursomes, 4 from the employees, 4 from the council, something like that.
So maybe the motion should be that we allocate $5,000, and then once we find out what the breakfast is, we could then take the amount of money left and say, okay, we will pay the entries, 2 team entries. We will portion it out that way.
And then for next, the change stories from that.
So we know it's going to be up to 5,000.
Up to maximum.
Yes, up to, this is where we put the limit on, and there will be discussion as to, okay, what do we do?
So my
Once the
question
breakfast
is, how much will we spend on our advertising budget? That's our promotion budget.
And that was about $15,000.
I think it's all right if we can find out, like, $5,000 on a lot of golf balls and golf tees seems like a lot for a few golfers. But, I mean, we do wanna be part of this event, so
Yeah.
finding out what the meal is and the cost, and then whatever, seems reasonable when it comes time to buy some swag for the tournament, that would work out.
Councilor Rose?
Just, sort of move on the topic of tournaments. I was involved in organizing the one for Grand Prairie College. And, we had a lot of sponsorships from municipalities and as well as from lots of businesses, but there wasn't promotional stuff given away with those, like people would sponsor and they had a sign on the pole, or they sponsored a breakfast, and so it was more about their signage than lots of money spent on the promotional items. There was prizes for team prizes and things like that. But that would be more, I just don't see where like giving out small amounts of things that are where that would be how beneficial, or how, like, it seems to be maybe I'd like to see some sort of proposal as to what we're gonna do, because it seems like maybe we're just wasting money.
So, once the breakfast amount has been set, then we would like a proposal back as to what promotional items and the cost for final approval. Does that sound like what you want to do?
Yes. Who's going to do it?
Oh, we will do it. We just have to pass a motion saying that, the breakfast that we are sponsoring the breakfast for the annual charity golf tournament, and that we are prepared to purchase promotional items for a total cost of up to $5,000 upon approval of the promotional item selections. Okay? So, we get the list of promotional items, it only comes to 2,000 or 1,000, that's all we're interested in. So if the breakfast is 2,000, and we go for 1,000 promotional items, we're on the but they're not allowed to go out and buy the promotional items until we seen what we're getting and approved. But the breakfast is set once they give us the price for the breakfast. Are you satisfied with that?
Maybe if we put in up to 5,000 as opposed to, and for an amount of 5,000.
Yeah, up to 5,000. Could you read it back then?
Who's making that motion?
I will make that friendly amendment.
There wasn't a motion made.
There wasn't a motion?
No, I will make that motion. 'Cause
Moved by Mayor Cox that council allocate up to and not exceeding $5,000 for the town of High Prairie to sponsor the first annual charity golf tournament breakfast and some promotional golf items upon promotional item approval.
by council. Okay, now, when I go there, I will let them know what this means. So that it's quite plain that we may not go past that. I mean, if we figure they've got enough, they've got enough. Mr. Smack?
May I remind the council about their key duties as policy making and program and services development for the town of High Prairie? And that by getting into these kind of things, you're getting into operational matters. And you need to decide exactly how, who, and what. There's no budget set aside for any councillor to be operationally involved in this. And council has to be very clear as to how it
at this point, I don't believe there's been any cost. What kind of cost?
Who's sitting on that is being paid? As council appointed anyone to sit on that committee, the terms of reference provide this ad hoc. The question that you haven't asked is.
Then in that case, I will check with the CAO of the MD and see what kind of terms of reference they have created. Councilor Hampton?
We only need terms of reference if somebody's actually going to get paid to assist. This is a one-time event at the moment. There may not be a lot of impact from our side. If it's sponsorship of a breakfast, hey, write us a check for $1,500. Okay, nobody needs to go, nobody needs to attend anything. If golf pays, if golf entry fees were to be paid by the town, I would hope that nobody bills to be present to play. That would be my hope. If I take a day off work and I sponsor, it's my choice. Right? There should be no impact to the taxpayer on that.
As long as we're clear.
Yeah, no, and that's good. Let's get it over the open so we're all on the same page.
I attended 2 meetings and I will be there as the honorary co-chairperson on that date. And I consider this part of the honorarium that I paid. This is an honor to attend this charity, and this is one of the things that I feel as mayor, it's my responsibility to promote the relations between the MD, the foundation, and any other elected officials that come through. And I would also say the MD has said they're hoping that councillors will attend. They need a lot of volunteers. They're looking as we get further in. They will be letting me know what positions are available and where they need help. And they are also asking that town staff perhaps participate also. So there will be many places that the town will be needed as a co-host.
Just to be clear, that section 180 says that council shall act by resolution of bylaw. So if anyone of you is going to be in that tournament representing the town, then you need a resolution of council to authorize any of you to do that as president.
I can flip pancakes and serve scrambled eggs. I can drive the cart. I can't go. I would look really funny trying to swing a club.
Okay. So we have a motion.
I'll drive the beer cart.
Moved by Mayor Cox that council allocate up to and not exceeding $5,000 for the town of High Prairie to sponsor the first annual charity golf tournament breakfast and some promotional golf items upon promotional item approval by council.
All in favor? That is carried. Now, the other one was, do we want to discuss anything about Mr. Buchanan tribute? At this point, since we rescinded that motion. Councillor Danaka?
Kelly, I just have a question regarding the MD and the ad that's going in the paper. Any idea when that will be going in?
Yeah, I wanted to just comment quickly on that. Anytime we make directions for the administration to work with the MD, it tends to create a long process to get things done. We have to send a letter to them, they send a letter to us, now they send it back to their MD council to approve, and then we come back to us before it goes in. So if we had just done it by ourselves, it would have been much, much quicker, but we have to hear from their council. The administrator couldn't make that decision.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions, or Councillor Danaka?
I'm sort of racking my brain trying to figure out what it is beyond, you know, the big thank you ad in the paper to do for the Buchanan and family. I don't, I mean, I would like to see something where people can come and you know, thank them for wine and cheese, but I don't know if that's really something that would work. So I really don't know what more to do.
Councillor Long?
We'll get together, we'll figure something out. Because I know it's important for you, I know it's important for the community. And so, we'll brainstorm and come up with an idea. All right.
That's allowed?
It is, there's only two of them.
It's not a quorum, we're gonna do it.
Can't talk to one another, heaven forbid.
Well, I was just waiting for you to say something.
It's all good, let's be positive.
All right. Something's good. All right, now we'll go for protective services, leave. Oh, so that's, yeah, we're done on that one.
Municipal affairs.
Oh.
rules and responsibilities.
Municipal affairs, roles and responsibilities, yes, I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to make that motion that council direct administration to contact municipal affairs to request a workshop on roles and responsibilities for elected officials. Background proposal, it says a member of council, it was myself, Mayor Cox, requested this item be placed on the agenda. And I think this is a quote right out of my email. I believe that it has now been 6 months, and I think that council as a whole could benefit from a refresher course on roles and responsibilities, because once the time that you have now spent in council and myself, some of the questions you might ask could be answered and probably understood better. And you might have some good questions that have come up in the 7 months that you have been councilors. So, any discussion on this item?
My thoughts is, I don't know if I would, I mean, I probably would gain something from it, but at this point I'm going, I think I've got a good handle on this. I'm not, I mean, there's still things that you learn, but I think you're gonna learn them as you go along. So, I don't know if we need to take another half day to do that, because we got a good orientation in a couple of ways as we went through, or fairly good orientation. I think I'm comfortable in what I'm doing and sort of the roles and responsibilities at this point.
Any other, Councilor Luna?
Would it be the same one that we had when they first came here, that they went through the roles and responsibilities, or would it be something different?
I think we would be asking them to take this more to expanding on the workshop aspect, because I know that you have asked, how come we can't have workshops, or that type of thing. How do you get a workshop? How do you, what kind of direction can you do? I know that some councillors are delving into a little bit more of administration, and perhaps we need to know how much can we get into operations? Are we in overview or oversight or that type of thing? And I think we need some frank discussion on what exactly is this council doing right and what are we doing wrong? I know Councillor Prairie is very frustrated and has expressed it many times that we don't seem to be moving forward on anything. So here's a chance to discuss, why are we not moving forward, or is this how we move forward? Councillor Long?
I think that every council and every councillor gets really excited and gung-ho and they expect things to move quickly. And I've always reiterated that the wheels of civic politics especially, they go slow. There's a lot of background, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of motions made and then rescinded, and that's as a result of the feedback that we get from our citizens. Civic politics is by far the most participatory of any kind of electoral process, and so it does move slower. But I think for myself, the feedback and the input that we got from municipal affairs, the AUMA, and the continuing visits with AUMA when we go are going to be our classroom I'm not sure that we need, and I don't think I've seen a lot of interference or overstepping of boundaries regarding staffing and trying to tell or direct staff what to do. I think we've been respectful and utilized our management team fairly well when we go and we ask questions, but we certainly don't. I don't think we've been in there telling them what to do or whatnot. I don't know if I need it right now. Maybe in a year's time, if we have issues that come up that are blatantly obvious, then maybe we could have them come in, but I think we're doing pretty good holding our own right now. We've got lots to learn, but
I find that when I've been out to some of these conferences and just sitting on the committees with other council members and asking what they're doing and how they're doing, it's been very beneficial to learn. And yes, you can have workshops and you can have, you can have meetings and stuff of the council. So others are doing it, and it's, I forget the exact term now. It's meeting of the whole, meeting of the thing. Meetings of the whole, and you can have those.
Councilor Hampton?
Do you know when the MGA is supposed to come out with the revised or updated edition?
Probably not for another 6 to 8 months. There is another President Summit in Calgary where the municipal leaders are again looking at it and getting an update as to what's happening. But I believe it, first revision probably won't be for at least 8 months.
I'd like to hold off on this then until the changes are made and bring them back, and they can update us on the changes and refresher on everything else. Because then we will need them up in 6 to 8 months.
You have to know the differences.
Oh, it won't,
Which I'm hoping.
I don't think anybody's gone to the MGA reviews, have they? Well, the motion is there, and, did you read it back?
Moved by Mayor Cox that council direct administration to contact municipal affairs to request for a workshop on roles and responsibilities for elected officials.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is defeated. Motion for this item, I need another one. Nothing? Okay, I would have thought you would need one for information, but okay. Nope, it's defeated. So, moving on. Next item is Protective Services Report. Only one at a time. Which one would like to come forward?
Paper rocks is
So I have to come forward, or
Yeah,
just do it from here?
Just speak loud.
Okay. As you can see, I've got February, March, and April, because I haven't been here for a while. I missed the last council meeting because I was up in beautiful downtown Wabasca taking a disaster services course. Does anybody have any, or council have any questions on February's or March's? Any questions?
I just had one actually, and I wrote it on here. I know it was about, do you have to have a permit to burn in town? Like there was the one that was burning near the fence, so
Yeah.
they have to get a permit to come in, and they didn't have a permit. Do we
No.
fine those people? Is that, or just?
They were charged, yes.
They were
They were charged, I believe it was $300.
Okay, so we have a policy that
Yeah.
deals with it. Okay.
I believe she was charged $300, and whether we received payment for that or not, I'm not sure. I would
Does
have
it
to
go
check
against
with me.
taxes, Mr. Tomaco?
What's the question again?
Whether we received payment for that charge, for that fire or not, I don't know if we received payment for it or not. I'd have to check with me.
If there is no payment, do put that against taxes?
I'm not clear about that question.
We,
They
Sounds
charged
good.
them their bylaw, and they haven't paid their fine, what happens if they don't pay their fine, what's the consequences?
but should be able to be put against their taxes, I would think.
I don't,
What if they don't
I
own
don't
the
know.
house? Wouldn't it go to provincial?
Yeah, it wouldn't, sorry,
Counselor, Mr. Bloom?
Madam Mayor. Being a municipal tag, you can't, if they don't pay it, you can't direct it to their taxes. You have to either go a provincial ticket or, I guess, civil
Because
action.
the only things allowed against taxes are what, utilities?
Utility, unsightly cleanup.
Mr. Counselor Hampton?
What he's done.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say that fire was probably pretty unsightly. You probably have to clean it up, right? But that would be my take on that, there would be this mess there, and you went and took care of it.
Any other questions regarding this? And I really like your last page where you have given the breakdown of the billings.
Okay, yeah, that was, in April. After I took over, I started doing the billing, so, as you can see, we billed for all the false alarm calls. So there, we made a revenue of $1,750 for the false alarm calls. And the billing for the MVCs we've attended is $13,000, so altogether, we've made just about $15,000 in March and April, so.
Have we not been billing previous to this?
We were, yeah, but,
But now it's in the report?
Right.
Okay. If the amount is more than what Alberta Transportation pays, or has it ever been more?
we just charge Alberta Transportation, as of the new year, they pay $600 per hour per unit, and that's all we charge.
Will that cover our costs?
Yeah.
And the reason I ask is if it didn't cover our costs, we could go to the insurance companies.
We could, but we can't, it stipulates there we can't double bill, like we can't bill transportation and an insurance company for anything over and above. We're not allowed to do that, we can only send one invoice out. So. But I think the $600 per unit per hour covers the cost.
You're okay, all right. Did the billing of the false alarms, did it decrease the number of alarms, or has it made an impact?
Well, I know two of the places for sure had people come in and look at their alarm system, and it hadn't been updated for a few years, and it is now, so it seems to be working fine now. So.
Councilor Panasic?
Yeah, I'm curious about this money collection thing now, with the fence burning or potentially, and we don't have any real teeth to collect that money. Do we have teeth, and how do we make sure we collect this money that, for the false alarms, if they say, oh, we're not paying it?
I don't really know. I don't know what's gonna happen if they don't pay it.
That would be probably go to small claims eventually.
We just
So-
don't send Kelly after?
Well, maybe, yeah. You kill your big stick and.
Councilor Hampton?
The funds that are collected for the motor vehicle collisions, is that part of a pool? And there was a large pool that the funds just keep accruing. Have we looked into, we were gonna talk to the MD of Big Lakes about how we can access those funds or what we're gonna put it towards? Any discussion on that?
That still goes into reserve, and the MD has given us permission to use that money for equipment, so.
Okay.
It's being used for equipment.
It will probably, it's building up faster Donata?
That was my same question.
Are there any other questions regarding the fire chief? How is it going?
It's been a lot of work. I've been spending a lot of time on the municipal emergency plan. It's pretty well done now. I just emailed it to Crystal here yesterday, and she will have it all on your tablets for, I don't know when, maybe it's on there now, I don't know. So you can review it, and if there's any errors or omissions, let me know, and I will get it straightened out. And biggest thing is check your own phone numbers, make sure I got them right. I tried to phone as many phone numbers in that municipal plan as I could, and I've spent weeks on the phone. It's a lot of work to update everything. But I think it's up to date now.
Thank you. This is much appreciated. I think Councillor Donata especially is near and dear to that emergency manual, and
You should have it on your tablet now, so.
Yes, actually, we just got an email from Crystal, I think, today, that it's on the tablets, I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
It certainly hits home a little bit more when they have the derailment in Slave Lake last week, right? Like it's that close.
I did meet with Railway Transportation Canada Incorporated today from the Prairie, and they are going to come back to High Prairie in late August or beginning of September, and they're going to do a course on, they want all emergency responders and I imagine council as well, and they're going to rent the place at Pomeroy, and they're going to do a presentation on railroad safety and what they're doing and all that. So when I get, or when they get the dates and times and all that set up, they're gonna let me know. I can forward all that information to you, and we'll go through and maybe learn something about railroad.
And like you said, it's very appropriate, because CN Rail did go out to Slave Lake and assured them that there was nothing wrong with those rails, and those tracks are good, and et cetera, which may have been.
I don't know,
All right, any other questions regarding, yes, Mr. Tomato?
I think the arrangement that we have now with Ken is one of the biggest strategic moves that we've ever made in terms of our emergency preparedness. We have somebody who is very experienced and who is very focused on issues of emergency, and I'm very, very proud of the work that he's doing, just to let you know.
thank you, Kelly.
Well, I have one other question. It probably does not impact you, but I see the fence behind the fire hall is bent. Is that anything to do with you, or is that basically public works?
I think that was when they were pushing snow up, it got bent. I imagine Public Works just hasn't gotten around to fixing it yet. And they're supposed to be doing the landscaping the north side of the fire hall, between the fire hall and the fence. They want to put a strip of asphalt in there to keep the weeds from coming up. But that won't happen until we get an asphalt plant around here somewhere. So when that happens, I imagine they'll do it. And then they want to fence both ends off so people can't walk in there.
Might be able to tie into when they're building the skateboard park, maybe there's something.
Maybe. Not really.
So, and there is no protective services report from Mr. Bloom, is there at this point?
This was my off month, so,
Yeah.
I apologize, but, it'll be both this month and next month in June.
In June? All right then, could we have then a motion to, oh, we don't need it for, the council carrier says it's adopted for information already. That's part. All right, then the next item is the traffic bylaw.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, I thought, it would have been discussed and said it was part of the agenda. Councilor Enter, what did you?
And that is a discussion I've had a couple times, that if it's part of the agenda, we've approved the agenda, we've approved the report.
It's consistent for us to receive for information, so we can tie it back to the minutes, the agenda that needs to be.
Okay.
So I'll move the council receive the protective service report from Fire Chief Ken Melnick for information. How's that?
Perfect.
All in favor? That's carried. Next item of business then is, and thank you for coming and staying as late as you did, but stick around a bit longer. Traffic bylaw, 04/2014. I believe this was postponed until this meeting for a little bit more public consultation. Would anybody like to make a motion on this? Councilor Long?
I make a motion that council give second reading to bylaw 04/2014, this 14th day of May, 2014.
Okay, any discussion on this, Councilor Panasic?
I thought we gave it 2 readings at the first time.
So we're actually into the third and final.
Okay.
Then,
So, your motion then is council give third and final reading?
I believe that was inherent in that, yes.
Yeah.
Council give third and final reading bylaw 04-214, this 14th day of May, 2014.
Councilor Donata?
My question is this something that we want to pursue? And I'm basing that on some of course, Mr. Wakel coming at the last council meeting. Some very long threads on some of the discussion sites. I'd like to ask Councilor Panasic, what kind of response did you get when you were discussing that on the radio? Like, were people in favor, not in favor, wondering why?
It was really interesting on that. We did get a couple of people calling in. There was 3 or 4 that actually called in, but there was a lot of ripple effects. I did end up, people that heard it talked to me afterwards. People sent me emails. I ended up with talking to people on the phone, ended up with phone messages, and so it did get quite a bit of feedback from going that route. And it was a bit of mixed comments. Some people were in favor, some weren't, but it was certainly more in favor of no change at this point. A lot of people don't really see the need for it. I'd say maybe 2/3 for no change, and about 1/3 for a change. And there was some concerns about saying, well, a playground zone around EW Pratt and Prairie River, and grouping all of that in one, wasn't as needed. They saw, if it was one, maybe by the high school and along Railway Avenue, but even that, they were saying it's all fenced, the kids can't run out. That was the general consensus from the people that I talked to. And some were in favor, saying, hey, if it saves one life, it's worth it. That was their viewpoint, and others saying, you know what, it's safe. Even the province hasn't adopted a change going down the highway where it's probably most dangerous, and so it certainly did get a lot of people talking and thinking about it.
Councilor Long?
I haven't received a lot of discussion on it. I've got a tally of 11 people who have addressed it to me, and it's split. It's 6 in favor and 5 opposed, and I'm of the opinion when we're dealing with this issue from a 2-pronged approach. One, to reduce and minimize the impact of the trucks on our streets and what they're doing to the roads, as well as a safety component. And living so close to an elementary school where the kids use the playgrounds nonstop, and then you see somebody rip through 60, 70 kilometers an hour it scares the heck out of you. And when you hear the brakes slam on, you're thinking, you're wondering if you're gonna hear something hit, i.e. a child. Yes, I recognize we have some limitations regarding Highway 2 and Highway 749, but we're sending a message to the community that we're taking the safety of our children seriously, and we're taking the infrastructure seriously, and the issue that we have regarding our infrastructure. If people realized and stopped and realized we're concerned about our taxes, we're concerned about the cost of running this town, if we can't have a mechanism to try to slow the trucks down along Railway Avenue from a sun-up, sun-down perspective, it's going to cost us dearly, I think. I'm in support of this.
Councillor Denarkin?
I'm kind of split in the sense that I can understand, you know, the aspect of if we reduce the speed limit on the roads, they get less pounded out. I also understand people's response saying that, well, wherever the playgrounds are, they're all fenced. And there's no, the kids can't run out onto the street. I mean, it was I guess not necessarily a directive from the Premier saying this is what you're doing, but they haven't implemented either. And whether they're going to or not, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm very split.
Councillor Rose?
I think the message that we got from the community was exactly that, really mixed, same as the coffee shop banter, just those that, truck drivers don't like it. There's nothing, like industry is gonna be the one that's gonna be, just with the resource road, that'll be the biggest factor. I don't think it'll be an issue in any other area in town. And people,
70 kilometers.
they're not gonna slow down either, because that, speed limit's only 50.
Try to be that much higher.
But if the city of Edmonton has no school zones, let alone playground zones, I mean, that needs to be taken into consideration a little bit in my opinion.
They changed all their school zones to playgrounds, and now they're reviewing that.
Yes,
Just-
That was the comment online.
Mr.
For council's information, just the night before last, I was going to my stepmother's place. She lives down along Railroad Avenue, and there was a soccer game going on in the schoolyard, and there was a bunch of kids playing football in the schoolyard. And a block and a half, the length of the schoolyard, was cars on both sides of the street, one and the other. People go through the little holes in the fence, kids running around between vehicles. And I was going that way, there was a crude oil truck coming towards me, and they don't even slow down, like they just keep driving, and there is hardly enough room to go between the two rows of vehicles parked on the street. And in my mind, it's just a matter of time when something's gonna happen. Because people do park there and kids do run back and forth from the schoolyard to the vehicles. So, just for your information.
Mr. Bloom?
I just want to throw this out, just, it might confuse you even more, but my recommendation would be to keep it school zone, but change the times. Go from this 8:30 to, or 8 to 4:30. And it might alleviate some of the naysayers or the people that are opposed, but I don't know.
I see the school zone, unless you're really thinking all the time, you don't know what time it ends. I believe it ends at 9:30, but I'm really not sure. And then it starts again at 11:30, but if you go the actual 8 until 4:30, then you know that that school zone is a school zone. I agree with Councillor Tanaka, where she's saying basically that the Department of Transportation does not even agree with this, and yet the news release came from the Department of Transportation, so they don't even know what they're doing. But if killing two birds with one stone doesn't work, I believe that if you want to save your road, you should make it very plain, this is what we're doing. We are saving the road. We are not putting the safety and saving the road together at the same time. I don't support this. I think that we should actually say we are slowing the traffic on that road specifically because it is wrecking the road or whatever. Be very upfront and blunt about it. But right now, I believe this is it's not an issue that is it's not worth taking up at this time. Councillor Enter?
Apologies to Councillor Roche, it was correct, the state of Edmonton doesn't have any school zones. They're reviewing that, it's under review at the moment to put them in place. It's one of the few cities in North America that don't. Studies in 96, 2000, 2005 showed they weren't needed, but a lot of people are climbing to lower from 50 to at least 30 for school zones. Unfortunately, I agree with all three of you. It is that contentious of an issue. I agree with Ken. I've seen there at soccer, you have 250 children running around like crazy and just chasing the ball, flipping over, going whatever. It's going to be a difficult vote.
Councillor Panasic?
One of the comments that I heard quite a bit was is around the enforcement, especially when it's soccer night. And we know when some of those times are, like that particular road doesn't, or that area doesn't get used all that often in that kind of manner, but there are certain nights, and it is in the summer, it's not in the winter, you know, as much. So some of the comments were enforce it then, you know, really make an effort when there is soccer going on. If somebody's ripping down there, they should be getting tickets and sending a clear message that they should be slowing down along there. That was one of the comments. And the other one I just wanted to say is, because this included a lot of other areas, this particular motion, to say don't, you know, to cover even all around EW Pratt, and people weren't in favor of that there. So that's just another comment on that. And I know if you change the times of the school zones from what's in I guess the provincial regulations, then you have to post them. If you stay with the regular ones, then it's assumed that's what's in the manual, of which it's the hours that nobody's really sure what they are. So you could go a little bit like Alan was suggesting and post them, and everybody knows when they have to drive slower.
So, is there any other comments? I think everybody has given what they have thought. All right, then I think we will, could you please read the motion?
Moved by Councillor Long that Council give third and final reading to bylaw 04/2014, this 14th day of May 2014.
Okay, so this is passing this bylaw. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is defeated.
Okay.
All right, the next, yes.
I'm not good about the amount and the income there, so if you're going to, unless you are, not going to come but unless it's.
To the extent.
Your time. So,
Well,
everybody knows, so.
I think actually we're
Okay,
almost done.
okay.
We need an hour for in camera, I will keep it on,
Let's-
or after 10 will be in camera.
Yeah, okay.
All right, St. Andrew's School graduation is the next item. St. Andrews is asking for mayor or council representation at their ceremony.
Make a
Councillor
motion that council authorize council member Mayor Cox to attend the St. Andrew's graduation ceremony on August 23rd, 2013 at 2 p.m. at St. Paul's Catholic Church in Prairie.
Any discussion? I available, May 23rd. All in favor? This one's carried. Next item is Seniors Advisory, Councillor Enter.
Make a motion that council proclaim June 2nd to the 8th, 2014 Seniors Week and direct administration to display posters and advertise in the town of High Prairie's digital sign.
Any comments, questions? At this point, all in favor? Motion is carried. Prairie Rodeo Parade, next item. Motion,
I'm not sure about the and part in there, that's part I can't remember, so, like, I could move the first part, the council authorize member of council, Mayor Cox, to participate in the High Prairie Parade July 29th and attend the pro rodeo being held at the rodeo grounds in High Prairie on July 29th, 2014. I'm not sure what the other recommendation is there.
And tickets as part of the sponsor.
no. The sponsor gets 6 tickets separately, has nothing to do, this one, obviously, when I read the letter, it says that we will supply 2 guest tickets for you. Presumably as a speaker, I would receive the 2 tickets to get into the grounds to give the welcoming speech. Sponsorship, you get 6 tickets.
Council authorize the mayor to supply 2 guest tickets.
No, they're gonna give them to me.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's already done.
The
so-
council will give you the 2 tickets because you're going there to do the actual speak. So,
Do
so
we
then
need to authorize that?
the council authorized member,
Councillor
Okay,
Enter?
I'll add that just to clear it up. The council authorize members of council, Mayor Cox, to be supplied with the 2 guest tickets, the High Prairie Elk Rodeo supplies to the town of High Prairie.
Councillor Enter?
my only comment or request would be that there'd be no honorarium for any counselor doing the parade
I
or
agree.
doing the speech. It should be part of our.
This is an honor,
Yeah,
and,
this one's an honor.
and I have never, I wouldn't have charged,
Okay,
I would not
so
have.
strike the honorarium, and those of which participate in the parade, go ahead. Councilor Mayor, not Councilor Mayor, Mayor Cox will give the speech and receive 2 tickets for the speech.
Where do you see the honorarium to
Right.
scratch?
Under cost and source of
$200.
funding.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they should do.
I agree. Yes? I didn't get the 2 tickets for the indoor rodeo, I don't know where they went, but again, I had to beg admission at the gate, and they had to go get the president of the club to let me in, and they said they had given them to me, but I came and,
I think, let me explain quickly because Krista was not here. The 2 tickets came, I never saw them. But when she came and we talked about it, it was lying on her desk. Never seen it.
so when they come, they put them in my inbox.
Yeah, it has, it will give it to me. I will definitely.
Let your staff know, because that's who they gave it to was, in fact, they said they gave it to you. Yeah, okay. Anyways, we have a motion. All in favor? That's carried. And now we have the, yes,
Before it gets past that, 1 minute after, I think we should make a motion to extend council. Just,
yeah, just in case, you're gonna be here to stand after you.
so I make that motion.
Councilor Long makes the motion. We'll push it. All in favor?
That's unanimous, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And it is.
Boy,
And boy, take 1 vote.
We won't be late.
So I heard you.
All right, so we have the CAO's written report. Do we have any questions on this written report? And do we have any questions therefore on the Councillor Tanaka?
No, going to Kelly's.
Yes, please.
It's not a question, but I would like to pass on my congratulations to the Pitchin Week people. That was exceptional. That was such a beautiful thing to see compared to last year, and it sounds like it went very well. They didn't seem to have a lot of issues with having IDs from what I gathered, but please congratulate them on,
Yeah.
the job on that pitch-in.
Yes,
It was,
And when I was writing this, I was thinking about council, and it just shows a picture of West Council administration are working very well, because a lot of ideas came from council that we administration took into consideration, and it just came into my mind's eye that it's a real picture of great working relationship. So thank you, council.
you did a great job.
will Public Works be giving us a cost compared to last year's? I think that would be something that would be of interest to everyone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people ask that question, how much does it cost to keep those people there versus how much does it cost us overtime cleaning up all the mess afterwards? So, and it was so clean.
And the other thing was, I'm wondering if we did that pitch-in week too early, because it was pretty cold, and did people get their yards cleaned?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got. I think we did several times.
I talked to people who, said that they were really hoping to do their lawns, but unfortunately the lawns were still frozen. And they couldn't rake their leaves, so we kind of missed it, unfortunately, but that's just.
Yeah. Councillor Hampton?
I hauled 5 loads of trees from my mom's house. It was inactive, and that road was busy going to the town dump behind there. You'd meet 4 vehicles coming in as you're leaving.
That actually was Mr. Walker's idea of separating the wood immediately rather than bringing it into the sports palace and then loading it in. I did have 2 people complain that they couldn't pick because it was gone.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Hampton?
I know that some of the intangibles we must consider, even though there's overtime for cleanup and all the rest, is I like it fenced, I like it secured, I don't want a bridge falling over on a kid, I don't want somebody doing something stupid. It was sorted, it was organized, it was staffed, it was clean, they assisted, they directed. It was worth it to me.
All right,
I'd just like
yes, Councillor Panassi?
just one thing, Kelly, I don't know if you can let, Public Works know, but the flashing around the pumping station at the tennis courts, it all blew off. And it's kind of hanging there in a bit of a state of a mess, and I don't know if they've noticed it or seen it, but I just wanted to bring that up. It needs to be repaired and let them know.
Should we contact the owner?
Yeah.
Actually, it's unsightly, let's just send them a bill.
Yeah.
Send them a bill.
All right, are there any other questions regarding this? What about the action list? And now that Mr. Panasic is here, can he let us know what is happening with the getting hold of Mr. Pratt regarding the documentation on the Gordon Buchanan, construction of Gordon Buchanan?
Yeah, I talked to Lindsay, and then I relayed it on to Kelly, the results of it. But the end result is that, Lindsay doesn't know the details that they really need to know, so he can't really help with it. And he reiterated the same issues of trying to get, Mr. Forrester out to look at it, and he said that the only way you'll get him is if you can sort of pick him up, you wheel him over and sit with him and take the time to document everything that he kind of tells you when you were there. So it would literally be you'd have to work with him and take him out there and have some kind of a plan and mark on there, which, what line is underneath the concrete and where that line went and what it was for, because that's the kind of stuff that you just don't know. So he said it would be a bit of a chore to get it, and you'd have to literally sit with him all day and have some maps and take some really good notes to make it of any value. But you'd also have to get Mr. Forrester to agree, but Lindsay thought that he probably would.
What do we want to do, Councillor Knapp?
I just have a question on this issue. Contractor documentation regarding the construction, what exactly does that mean? Like, what are they looking for?
What I got out of it was trying to find out where the lines were running underneath the floors, where the piping and the drainage pipes are running, so that, you know, if you go to do an improvement, you know that the pipes are running this way and not that way, just that kind of information, and it was
Is there,
never,
like, is there no blueprints or anything that shows how this thing is constructed?
not for some of the underground stuff, is my understanding, and that's what they're trying to find out.
Councillor Hector?
A lot of it was done ad hoc, and changes were made during the building or the construction phases. And there were things that were plumbed in for future expansion and changes to be made in the future that could save us a lot in the future while it was open and available. Problem is, it wasn't documented. And now we're trying to figure out, well, what was done.
Any other thoughts on this issue?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but, again, I'm not sure who's sort of responsible to go and sit with them, and if he's gonna get, because it would take a bit of time and effort, and you have to get, there's only one person really left that can give that kind of information, and you have to get his approval too.
Well, do we want to direct the administration to explore it with Mr. Walker? And see what he thinks of the proposal to try to bring out Mr. Forrester?
You want them to do that?
No, I said explore it with him, ask him what he thinks of that proposal. Maybe he knows somebody else, maybe Mr. Martinson might be a better fit, maybe they will both say, no, this isn't a good idea. Just explore it.
Yeah, I think, we talked to Forrest, and I think it was done by Ken, and he's not in a position to do that.
Yeah,
It's been going on, and we talked to Lindsay, we talked to Forrest, we talked to, and we seem to be going nowhere with it, because there's nothing documented. At least, Mr. Forrester is still.
yeah, and like I said, Lindsay didn't know if Mr. Forrester would go out or not, he just thought he probably would, but you'd have to pick him up, load him in the wheelchair, get him out, and you'd have to do a lot to get there. And make arrangements to do that.
Well, we could see if senior management felt that there was some value in that, because they're the ones that are gonna have to deal with a problem when there is a problem and we don't have blueprints and we don't know where things are.
When the town goes to rebuild something,
Mhm.
because West House gets changed out or
Things,
whatever.
that's right, there's a lot of information that may be helpful if they felt this is valuable.
You know, what I'll do is, I'll talk to Brian, and we'll try to go back again to, Mr. Forrester, and we'll come back. Okay, so now I'll do the best.
Are there any other actions that you have questions on? Can you tell me what happened with the passes that were donated to Prairie FM? Did they give them away on their radio?
I talked to the, who did I speak to? She sent an email, she sent the passes directly to the radio station, and she did.
And I'm looking at the commercial high school division. It says that this action is completed and that council further directs administration to develop a business case to justify the possibility of rental use. So is it completed?
I sent it to, Christy. Did we send it to them?
No, not today.
Not today, because I scanned it, and I have copies of this, and it was supposed to go in your inbox, so. I'll
All right.
send it to you by tomorrow.
Councillor Tanaka?
273/14. Council Long and Council Director Administration to research draft policy that protects and addresses harassment of the public. No policy like this out there, should we say?
That being honest, I researched this, to be fair, it doesn't really sound good in terms of, because employees always have disciplinary standards. If they don't treat their customer rights, there are procedures for dealing with that. That to maybe make the assumption that our organization will harass public. But I went and did my research, I couldn't find it.
So that begs the question, to get it off of here, should we rescind the
Yes,
motion?
that would be my
Is that,
recommendation. Because it doesn't, if employees don't do the job, we have disciplinary processes for them, from reprimand to termination.
Is there any process for the public to complain about employees?
Actually,
Is it
It's
a
always
policy or is it
doesn't
written
have to be
anywhere?
policy. If your organization, if somebody is not happy, they go to the manager. And the public knows that. You can't.
Well, I'm not really sure. I'm actually not really sure about that. I believe that if you look at many nonprofit organizations, they have sorry, Mr. Carrier's here.
Must be some big tree.
Maybe there's some switch on some or something. No, there's issues.
All right, so I'd like to look into this a little bit more. And so I think we'll just leave it for another day.
Again, I think the CEO is correct in one regard, it's in that there's a policy in place, there's for proper conduct, and this is how you conduct yourself at work. We have an opportunity for a suggestion box. We can put a notice saying that if there's any concerns, please direct it to. I haven't heard a lot of people coming to me saying that they've been mistreated, but you always get some, because we're 2,500 people or so. And you always get some people who are dissatisfied when you get in the town hall, but I don't know.
All right, is there any other discussion? Is there a motion to accept this report? Councillor Anderson?
Make a motion to accept the information.
All in favor? This report is carried. Next item of business is the Big Lakes Family and Community Support Services. Councillor Panasico.
I move that we receive this report for information.
Are there any questions regarding that? All in favor? It's carried. Next item of business is the President's Summit. Motion on this one, please.
Well, I'll move the council approve Mayor Cox and CAO to attend the President's Summit being held in June 18th and 19th, 2014 at the Metropolitan Conference Center in Calgary.
All right.
And we can discuss it.
This, the Mayor's Caucus alternates between Calgary and Edmonton. And this is, of course, the Calgary city. They're calling it the President's Summit because they are, I don't know why they're calling it that, but what they really want to talk about is the Municipal Government Act and how it is going to impact municipalities. And so this one will be, it should be very, educational, because there has been so much discussion already, and especially on the fact of the vitality of urban municipalities compared to rural municipalities. And the discussion, a lot of it is on the dissolution process or the sustainability process that they're now moving towards. And how is this going to be handled in the future? I know the city of Grand Prairie is pushing to get a resolution on the fall AUMA to discuss specialized municipalities. Councillor Andrew.
Welcome back, Council Carrier. When reading the flyer behind it, it says, through attending, you will hear what AUMA, municipal business, community, academic, and other organizations are proposing for MDA changes. They can do that through an email, they can do that through a website. If it's only going to be simplified information like this, I just don't, I'd like to find out from you, what is there that would give reason for you to go to Calgary or for someone to pay $2,500 for route expenses?
And I'm thinking, if I don't go, where will I learn more about the other feelings of other municipalities, the heads of the other municipalities on what's happening with the MGA Act? This review of the MGA Act has been an item that has been pushed by the province as very important to all municipalities, and they have constantly been bombarding us with when are we going to go to training, when are we going to go to discussions, where I mean, they've had them in Okotoks and everywhere. Councillor Panassa.
Oh, so I'll let you finish, no, I just wanted to speak after.
They've had them in Drayton Valley, they've had them in Grand Prairie, they've gone high level. We haven't even had anything close to this area, but Edmonton, again, they've had coming in Edmonton. So eventually, we've got to get involved in this. So this to me is this is an example of how we should be getting involved. Mr. Tobacco, what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I was just going to say that if the cost is a factor, I don't need to do it. I'm just to reasonably do the cost. So suggest that with your indulgence that you don't have to, so that we can have a discussion about the vehicle, so that cost implications involve the seal is everything.
Well, then the cost would be less, of course.
I was gonna ask, like, they did the MGA review and input session in Peace River, did anybody go? Was there any value in going to that? I know that was just what a.
That was would have been one of the sessions available.
Yeah.
And as they go further along, they get more detailed because they're getting more input from all of these communities, and they're beginning to see what it is they want to change and where the importance of the changes are. Like what is really impacting municipalities.
I really would like to see the agenda. That would make me feel more comfortable. If there was an itinerary that we knew that you could go to and that this was what you'd be attending and what as a council that we see as important issues. This is so loose that it creates an opportunity where we would miss out on setting to the part of the conference that we would think is the most important. You know, by not knowing what's at the conference and what's not being offered in courses and seminars, then we don't have, like the AUMA, where really important, I think, that to look at where is it we're going to go, who's going to attend these ones, and then report back. Here, if it's just a bunch of people from the AUMA or whatever saying this is what we think is the best thing for you, and it's a big hug session, Whereas I would feel more comfortable if it was broken down, this is the itinerary, and here are the discussions that are being discussed, and this is how it's going to impact you as a town, or as a municipality, or as a city.
I don't have an agenda, this is all I've got. So,
Yes, please.
so at this point, and if you feel that this, there'll be other sessions, so don't,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's not the end all be all. It probably would be good groundwork, but. So, we have a motion. Could you read it back, please? And I don't, is there any other discussion on this before I get the motion read back? No? Could you please read the motion then?
Moved by Councillor Panasic that council approve Mayor Cox and the CAO to attend the President's Summit being held June 18th to 19th, 2014 at the Metropolitan Conference Center in Calgary.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion is defeated. Next item of business is the mayor's report. Are there any questions regarding the mayor's report? Not, I move for information. Councilor Carrier?
Just on your second page here, at Prairie District Community Health Foundation, you talk about the Community Foundation of Northwest Alberta out of Grand Prairie. Were you able to get any more information in regards to how that could help our town?
They actually have a website, and the Community Health Foundation, or the Northwestern Foundation accepts requests, and then has different, they have built up a very big chest, and we are part of the Northwest Foundation. We can apply for money as a group, or as a, citizens in this town are part of that foundation also. But in the sense of how it would benefit the town, I think the Community Health Foundation, because it's modeled on that one, is what we were looking for. Except, although they put health into their name, they told me that they wish they hadn't. But at this point, they are focusing on the CT scan, that was their big fundraiser. And then the Habitat will be their next one. But they're because they're a small organization, they have not really expanded into looking at the community as a whole. But check the website for the Northwestern Foundation and see what they do and how they do.
Thank you.
Have we, just as a side note, have we heard anything back from Mr. Holman regarding letter from town?
No, as far as I know, have we?
We haven't.
And so Pearl, get back to us. A huge issue, I understand in talking to some people from connected with the development of the hospital that dialysis is not being made available at this point in time. And that because they're so over budget, that there's going to be a lot of cutting to the potential planning of the hospital. So I think it's important that we get some facts out here and find out what's going on.
Councilor Hampton?
When you talk about over budget, are you talking the hospital or the PC government?
The hospital.
That base case they're running, they've spent a lot of money.
My understanding is that from how it was presented to me is that they're building the hospital based on a budget that was created 3 years ago, and that they're already over. And
There's originally like 15 years ago.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions regarding this? I have moved for information. All in favor? Report is carried. Next item is Councilor Perry's report.
I handed my report out earlier. If there's any questions?
And I think you were at the regional collaboration where they talked about dialysis and MRI.
Yeah, I was. It sounds, the only members that were, hopeful members that weren't there were Drift Pile and Whitefish. They unfortunately couldn't attend. but an astounding unity with, from what I was hearing, everybody's on board, they really want everything in that hospital that we're talking about, the chemotherapy and the dialysis. They're really hoping to get that regional training facility here as well. And also the third main goal that they're hoping for is infrastructure, different roads. It was very positive at that last meeting.
And I think they're actually working as a group. It's really gelled. So
I don't know if I missed it or not while I was gone, but did we choose somebody to represent us at their next meeting? They had mentioned that they just wanted one representation. They were hoping for either a mayor or a deputy mayor or chief, as it may be, the councils.
actually, I thought it was open to any councillor. What did you take away from it, Councillor Tanaka?
The meeting at the Agplex. My understanding was that the elected officials would come back to their board, have them, council board, have their council select a representative, and the representative would be the one that would go to the next meeting on June the 18th. That was my take. I could have been misinterpreting.
So it was not necessarily the mayor or the deputy mayor.
No, whoever town council or chief or settlement designates as their rep for their particular group.
And I did get a call from Daniel about the meeting, giving me the meeting date, so I'm confused now. I think it made it sound like everybody was supposed to go again. They're just trying to do, because we had met once to discuss terms of reference. So that's what they were doing next, right?
They're at this next meeting, they're hoping to have just a smaller group so they can kind of hash things out so that they can get the facilitator in place. It's a $5,000 grant. Once they have the facilitator in place, then they can carry on with the different goals that we have set. And if we're running on this partners, and it was kind of running off that partners in prosperity. I was looking at the committee structure, and I apologize. It looks like this should have been Councilor Rose and Mayor. So I kind of was going, if you're running on the partners in prosperity committee structure here.
Oh, no, this is, I don't really know if Partners in Prosperity
We were just
in play.
using those terms of reference for the time being.
Being that Partners in Prosperity really isn't running, that's sort of where this sort of comes from, thinking that this would be the
So
group that would fit in.
you have the report. If there's nothing else, you can move to accept, and then I think we can discuss who do you want to represent them for the June 18th meeting.
I'd also just like, if I can, Mayor, to, I was at the, up in Wabasca for the emergency, elected officials emergency response. I brought back some information in a photocopy. I gave it to legislative secretary. It's a great read. I highly recommend everybody take the time to read it. It really explains what we are to do as a council. If and when disaster strikes our town, it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. If there's a town evacuation, the first people on the bus should be us, heading out of town. We are the leaders of the town, we should be setting the example. That was one main topic he talked about, and another one was the Emergency Operations Center. As a council, we are absolutely not going anywhere near the Emergency Operations Center. It's very frowned upon. So there's lots of good reads in there. There's different information on 72-hour packages you can do at home for preparedness. Might be something you could also put up front for the citizens of town that they come and grab. If there's no questions, I move my report for information. Report.
All in favor? And does somebody want to discuss the representative for the next regional collaboration meeting, June 18th? And I think this person then would be the one that carries forward, that is on, that is, once the terms of reference are developed. They don't have terms of references. This person is an ad hoc. We already have a motion that this person, whoever it is, actually the motion is that anyone can go of this council. And I think we should hone in and just be one person. Council Canassa.
I'd just like to put that to the next agenda and then move on to get to the in-camera.
Okay.
Wrap up again.
June 18th.
It's not pressing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there's, it's not on the agenda, so let's just put it on for the next agenda item.
Thanks.
Councillor Donaka, the report is here. Are there any questions on it?
I would just like to add one item. I just received this morning from Linda Duplessis, the director of the Peace Library System. Town councillor from Beaver Lodge, Mary Hermans. This was her third term. She was also the representative on the Peace Country Library System, PCLS. Unfortunately, she passed away on May the 12th. Her funeral is May 17th. I don't know what the policy is, but I think it would be a nice gesture from the town of High Prairie to send a sympathy bouquet to the town of Beaver Lodge. I only met her there. I don't know if you or Kelly have ever run into her, but I just thought that would be a nice gesture just for the town of High Prairie to send a sympathy bouquet to the town of Beaver Lodge on the loss of this council.
Do you have any comments, Mr. Twan?
I'm just not sure how to
Make a
approach.
motion.
Sorry?
I'm just saying, make the motion for $150 to send flour there and sympathy card.
So who's the one that's in that?
I think we will, before we move on that motion, is there anything else in this report?
Nope.
No? Okay, let's move this, I have one question. 12 pedometers have been ordered. What are you ordering pedometers for?
It's part of an initiative through the library to get people in and they can sign up for pedometers and return them, or for walking clubs or that kind of stuff to get people into the library, and they can track their steps, et cetera, in the library. It's sort of an initiative set up by, in all honesty, I can't remember who it was done by, but.
Okay, and here's my comments.
Okay.
Take it facetiously. And that library is telling me that they don't want to charge membership fees, and now they're giving out pedometers?
I just have visions of people walking down the street with their Kindle and getting schmucked by a bus.
In the playground.
In the playground,
Yeah.
with a pedometer.
Anyhow.
$4,228.
We'll be discussing that no fee thing on, when is it, March the 24th, we have,
Here's a thought. One of the people who read that in your report commented to me and said, the MD buys cedars and tree planters and is using taxpayers' money and then charges the farmer when he goes to rent it. So if he's paying for that with his tax money, shouldn't he get it free? And that would be the same thing. All right, we will have a motion. Yes, is there another?
No, her motion.
She has the.
I motion my,
report for information.
for information.
All in favor? It's carried, and now the bouquet.
I make a motion that the town of High Prairie send, sympathy bouquet to the town of Beaver Lodge on the loss of Councilor Mary Vernon.
In the amount of,
$75.
Where are you taking it from?
I'm sure the treasurer to come up
Sure.
with where it's coming from.
Council promotions.
All right, questions on it?
Yep.
And Councillor Enter?
I'm sorry that this person has passed away. It's a great idea, but there are a lot of councilors, a lot of mayors, a lot of people that serve on a lot of committees, reports, and things like that. And I don't think it's a good use of taxpayers' dollars.
I completely understand. I just thought it would be a nice gesture from one town to another, that's why I brought it up.
Actually, I like the idea of the sympathy card. I think the card would be
A
appropriate.
sympathy card would be sufficient for me, it doesn't have to be a bouquet. I
So,
can handle that.
we have a motion. All in favor of that motion? Opposed? And the motion is defeated. I can see.
I put it in favor.
In favor? Okay. So then you voted in favor. Okay. So it was defeated. Do we have another motion then on for a card? Or not? Councillor Long?
Anybody who gives 3 terms, I make a motion that we at least send a card and we sign it on behalf of town. Have them sign it for us and town council.
All right. All in favor?
I'll give them $5.
All in for that. The next item is Councillor Emter's report.
Sadly, I missed your last council meeting. It really hurts my feelings.
While you were in Finland.
Yeah, Iceland, yeah, and then right with it, kept with it. I attended a rec board meeting, April 25th, May 8th morning, May 8th evening, and then the High Prairie Golf Committee on the evening of May 8th. And I apologize for missing yesterday's Breakfast Club Canada meeting or session, whatever it was. I don't know. I don't think it was an honorarium or anything like that, but they sent us an email inviting us out. Sadly, I didn't have my phone with me, and it was 6:30 when I found my phone and it was beeping at me, and I missed it. And that's it. I moved my report.
Questions? The Breakfast Club of Canada was great. I represented the town, and they were happy. I was the only elected official there. They were happy to have someone to support the
My wife was all for it. She told me about the program. And I thought, "Oh, I should know."
So, all in favor? The motion is carried. Does Councillor Rose isn't here? Does that matter?
That's
It will reflect there. All right, Councillor Long?
Just a verbal report, attended the Firemen's and Fire Rescue Society's ball, spoke. It was well attended, and I believe they raised $2,700 for the CRC, thank you. And it was a lot of fun, and for a good worthwhile cause. It was nice to see how many people are involved in our volunteer firefighting community. And many of them weren't there. There was quite a few that weren't able to attend. So it was really, really nice to see. That's about it for now. And the next one I'll have a report.
Move your report for information.
My report for information.
All in favor? Carried. The next item is Councillor Panasic.
I left my written report sitting on the
That last
computer at home, but, so I apologize for that. Verbal report. I attended the CHRA conference in Edmonton, That was very good. There was some really neat ideas. The biggest one, just really quick, that came out of it was a lot of the social housing bodies are getting into business to run things. And so I think that was one thing that opened my eyes that, hey, they do things like run a landscaping company where they bring the clients, employ them to go and do landscaping, give them some work experience, give them some extra money to help them get out and get their own, market rent home. So that was kind of interesting. That was one of the biggest takeaways from it. And then we did Heart River Housing just had a strategic planning session last Saturday where they set their strategic plans and directions. That was it for me. Move my report for information.
Any questions regarding the report? Are we planning, is Prairie River Foundation looking at doing any more social or community housing in this town?
The priority right now for them is Fox Creek. Fox Creek is booming, they're booming.
Yes.
And they need places, and actually right now they're working with, and that was part of what came out of that conference, working with this Mike Leafwitz, the Assistant Deputy Minister. They are working with him, started the discussions with him about building a facility right in Fox Creek, and building it big enough where, there's enough for the social housing side of it, but would also maybe do some market rent to meet some of the oil companies. So we're going to be meeting with the oil companies, the MD, the town, and starting to see if we can get something going there. Because the government's already showed a little bit of interest. They've got some money from the social housing side that's been allocated, but the development's never occurred. So they're really looking at that one. There's some good momentum there. Actually, there was a comment that the wait list in High Prairie has dropped off. It's not as long as it was. So there isn't, and they're also doing a needs assessment to get a better feel for who's on the wait list, what are the needs in all of the communities. So right now, it's not their top priority. It's still something being looked at. But there's some synergies in Fox Creek right now that they want to capitalize on. And they're thinking that they can use that one to help fund other developments, because if they can rent out at market rent, they're going to make a fortune. And renting some of those rooms.
So the needs assessment for our community is coming, or they're doing?
Well, it's a needs assessment for the region. It's not for High Prairie only. It's for the region. And yes, the government was going to be giving some money for it. They had talked about that at the conference before. And Lindsay's squeezing him to get that money because they did make the promise, and he's trying to get them to, okay, give us the money now, we'll get started on it. So that's where it's at.
Can you bring back the number on the wait list?
Well, who's at the meeting tomorrow? You should ask them.
Thank you. All right, and your report for information, you've already moved it, all in favor? And the next one is Councillor Rose.
And due to being late and a broken computer, I will merge both reports for next week.
Okay, so no report. And that is our public portion of the meeting, and we will have a 5-minute adjournment, and then we will go and count.
Number of people on the wait list for
Community housing. And actually, if you're going to get waiting lists, let's find out how many are waiting for senior housing too. That would be interesting.
They don't have much of a wait list for